y'all, and welcome back. I'm Ashley and thanks for joining me today. Today I am reviewing two of my most recent reads which were on my May TBR, so you can jump back up and check out what was on my May TBR. But today I am reviewing The Crush by Sandra Brown, which was one of my first favorite authors, and then the second book that I am reviewing is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, which was a little bit of a stretch for me, but I am excited to share them, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So the first one being Sandra Brown's The Crush. It is about Dr. Rennie Newton, who is the juror who gives the verdict for a notorious hitman, and the verdict is not guilty. So soon after he is released, a rival of Rennie's is murdered in the hospital parking lot, and the police are looking at Rennie thinking that she hired the hitman to kill her rival. In order to seek protection, she turns to a rogue detective who is set on killing the hitman in order to save Rennie and protect her innocence. There were a few different things that I really liked about this book. So the first being that it was super action-packed. There were definitely certain scenes in this book that made you felt like you were in Rennie's house with her, like sitting on the edge of your seat just waiting to see what happens, which is so, I would say not interesting, but it just it literally keeps you sitting on the edge of your seat, waiting and wondering what is going to happen to her. Is she's going to survive? Is she going to get hurt? You know, it's just perfect amount of action in there. The second thing that I really liked was the mystery and intrigue around Rennie. We learn that there is something kind of weird with her, but as we move through the story, you get a few more tidbits about her until at the very end you learn her whole story of her background, which I really liked how that was divulged, that you had to keep reading in order to learn more about her, that you don't just get this info dump at the very beginning. So that I really liked that aspect as well. And then the third thing is the romance. Sandra Brown is known for adding romance to her action thriller books, so I really liked that aspect as well. I'm sure you can figure it out. Between the rogue detective and Rennie, there's going to be some romance when she turns to him for help. So I really loved all of those things about this book. I do want to note a few things that I guess not really turn-offs, but it could be depending on, what you like to read. There is a little bit of descriptive violence in there. It's not the worst that I've read, but I mean, I just wanted to note that because sometimes people just don't like reading about that. So that is something to note. And the other thing is that animals are hurt in this book, which was pretty sad. I was already in the book, so I wasn't gonna turn around now, but just something to note that animals are hurt in this book. So that's another thing that I didn't really like about it, but I mean, I get it. I understand why she wrote it in there, but at the same time, it's just very sad. So I gave this book a 4-star. It was a little unrealistic. So think action movies that you watch, they're a little unrealistic, but you can kind of get past it because they're just good and you just enjoy watching them. That's a little how this book is. I felt like it was a little unrealistic, especially compared to some other books, action books that I have read. So that was kind of a so that's one of the reasons that I gave it a 4-star. But I would definitely still recommend this book, especially, like I said, if you enjoy action and mystery, slowly learning about a character, and romance. This book definitely has all of that. So I hope that you will pick up this book if you enjoy any of these things. The second book that I am talking about today is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. And this one is... let's just get into the description. So April May is walking home at 3 a.m. in New York City when she stumbles upon a Transformer-like statue on the sidewalk in one of the New York City streets. And she quickly calls her friend Andy to come make a video. Andy is totally into making YouTube videos. So she calls him and they make a video, and then Andy uploads it to YouTube. They go to sleep. The next morning they wake up and their video has gone viral. And so April and Andy then tried to navigate the fame, the quick fame that they have gotten from this YouTube video and these statues, which April calls Carl's, and just figure out where to go from there. So there are a few things that I really had mixed feelings about this book. Let's just put that out there. I had mixed feelings. The first half of the book I really enjoyed. I really got drawn in to the point where April was finding the statue, like the creating of the YouTube video. Like I said, this is what I was kind of interested in, was that the statue looked like a transformer and that they were like all about social media. So I really liked that aspect of this book. And so as April found this statue and she's describing him and they are uploading their stuff to YouTube and all of that, seeing how that goes, I liked all of that. Pretty much that was the first half of the book. But as we move into the middle of the book and April is getting more fame from her YouTube video and the Carls, the statues that have become, you know, apparent around the world, I think that April gets a little annoying. And I'm not really sure if that is the age difference. I think April's 23 and I'm a little older than 23. So I don't know if it's just the age difference, that like I've had more life experiences that, you know, I just don't relate as much, or what. I'm not really sure, but I think she gets a little annoying. And then after, you know, she's gotten a little annoying, there is a point in the book where there is a rival group to April, and I was okay with the rival group. I totally understood the need to have a rival in the book for April to overcome. But the part that I didn't like was one line, but then after that, everything that I read, just I couldn't get that out of my mind. It was that they made it so April's people who followed April and the people who followed this rival group were split down political lines in America. And I think with the current atmosphere, it just didn't ring true to me. And I'm not really sure when this book was written, especially if it was written a couple years ago or whatever. Maybe the political divide wasn't so bad, but right now I just feel like it's a little too much, especially in a book that's not really political, I suppose, or I didn't think that it should be. I didn't get that that was the point of the book. The point of the book was unity, and mentioning that it was a political divide and then describing this divide, it didn't really ring true to me. So I just didn't like that aspect of the book. At that point, I pretty much was done with the book. There is a second book. Anyway, I was pretty much done. I was gonna finish this book and then put it down. I was good, whatever. And then I got to the last page. I'm not gonna give it away because I don't want to give spoilers, but I got to the last page and I'm like, maybe I'll pick up the second book. I don't know. So I'm still on the fence, but I did give this a 3.5 stars. Like I said, it's just the political part that kind of made me want to put it down. I didn't feel like that was the best way to go with this. Like I said, I understand the need for a rival to April, just because when you get to that much fame, you can't have people who, like, not everybody loves you. So I understand that aspect of the book. Just my personal opinion. Again, you might like stuff like that, in which case you might love this book. But those are my feelings about this book. So 3.5 stars. You can make up your own mind whether you want to read it or not. But if so, leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this book, or what you thought about it, or if you now want to read it too. Those are the 2 books that I have read thus far from my May TBR. I thank you for joining me today, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye, guys.